Everyone. I'm really excited to be here today to show you guys this reporting solution that's out of the box for Business Central. It's been something I've wanted to showcase for quite some time. It's a great time to be in the channel. I think Business Central is stronger than it ever has been right now, both with partners and with customers and with ISVs such as eKnowtion. But there are some gaps, and so that's why we're here. I'll go ahead and move on. We've got a few housekeeping things to do up front, and then we'll get right into the content. This is about time to value, so let me go ahead and get started. We'll have a few people trickle in here at first, I'm sure, so they won't miss too much. So, webinar housekeeping. You guys are all used to this. Please, we're going to be active in the chat, so please go ahead and put your questions there. We'll address those at the end. This session is kind of designed around a Q&A, so I'll be asking a few questions of the eKnowtion guys that we've had from our users and implementing as we work with the product. It's designed to be interactive, but between us, and then at the end we'll go ahead and address any other concerns, questions that you might have. We are going to record the webinar, so within 48 hours you will get a shared video of that. And for any questions, clarifications, please drop a mail to cmt@compqsoft.com. And with that, let me do a little bit of agenda here so we have an idea. We're going to run through introductions so you guys know who you're talking to. We'll do all the content, and then we've got an offer for everyone on the meeting. And then after, we'll follow up with that Q&A session. Okay, so why are we here? Again, it's a really great time to be in the channel as we've been working with users, either prospective users, or existing users, or those upgrading. We found that there's always a need for more analytics. And for prospective users, they really want to compare systems. There's a lot of compete and competition out there, so they want to see what's in there to offer. For existing BC users, they're looking for more analytics. So you guys that are already running the system, you know that Microsoft's been working on advancing their analytics. eKnowtion here has done that years in advance, and I'm really excited to show you this. It's a way to elevate your reporting. For those upgrading or re-implementing, they want to realize continuity in their reporting and how do they overcome the limitations they've been living with from the get-go. So every one of those scenarios, we demo eKnowtion's product. It's fantastic. It covers all the functional areas in the system. It's already built on a really solid data model. It supports all the existing data and legacy transactions, so you don't lose any history that you may not be bringing over if you're upgrading. And you can get up and running, in just a few hours, less than a day's time. So let me introduce you to who you're talking to today. Some of you may know me from the channel. I'm Owen McDonald. Been around Business Central for about 20 years, a little more. I've gotten a lot grayer than that picture. Now I'm working at CompQsoft as a reseller, director of data analytics here. I'm very excited to work with the team that's also pictured on here in eKnowtion. We have a trio of speakers. Dion is the CEO and creator of the product. Alice is business development, and he'll give you a great understanding of it. And Michael is the accounts director, and he kind of will give us a path forward and the comprehensive nature of the system. With that, since we're really on time to value, I'll jump right over. Again, we partnered with eKnowtion because we really love the product. We think, it should be in every Business Central environment. The time, the opportunity cost, and the time to value is really amazing. You're not going to replace the solution home growing it. So with that, I'll kind of let the eKnowtion guys take over. Michael, if you'd like to move it forward.
Yes, please. Yes, so just to the next slide would be great. Thank you. Yeah, so I think it's been really interesting for me speaking to many of the customers of Business Central Insights, just hearing in general what kind of challenges that they have with Business Central reporting. And look, for many customers of Business Central, the reporting that comes out of the box is perfectly adequate, really suits their need, and they're very happy with it. But I think there are a lot of customers out there who struggle in a number of different ways, but ultimately, the standard reports that come out of the box are generic, right? They don't suit every single industry. They don't suit every single function of a business. And certainly certain personas or even specific companies have custom requirements that they really need to do their reporting, whether it be to get the insights they need to make decisions, or whether it be to do the actual proper reporting for their business. So that can be difficult to do without the out-of-the-box reports. They need to make changes, and those changes can take a long time. I mean, really, some customers we've spoken to, they originally had plans to do a whole sequence of new reporting, and they really realized that would take a very, very long time, perhaps even years to deliver. And all of that comes with a huge cost in terms of resourcing, whether internal or external consultants. And I think the other thing that we quite often see as well, which is very common, is that many companies are global. They have multiple entities in multiple countries, and it becomes very difficult for them to get a single view of their business. And that in particular is something that seems to be very challenging for many Business Central customers. Alice, do you want to go next onto the next slide?
Yeah, sure. So actually, what happens when you realize that your standard reporting is not really helping you enough to drive your business? You basically have two bridges to cross. First, you need to understand where your data is and how to extract this. And then you need to visualize it in some kind of meaningful way. So you need basically 2 or even 3 sets of skills. You need in-depth understanding of Business Central, preferably for areas that are relevant for your reporting. You need Power BI skills, and finally, you need understanding of your processes. And for Business Central clients, it's typically hard to find all these skills in-house. And even then, they all have to work together. So you have to organize some kind of a project. And this takes time and money, and the outcome might not be so straightforward. And finally, any kind of custom reports need to be maintained on a long term. And this adds some additional costs over time and might even create some dependency. And now this is where actually Business Central Insights can do better. We have a whole next slide about this. So perhaps we jump to the next slide. Well, basically what we did, we created more than 400 reports and visuals. And all these reports and visuals are based on real life scenarios that are field proven and with more than 150 customers of ours in various industries. So we've added integrated and flexible cube analytics that allow you to customize the layout of your data by dynamically selecting rows or columns. And this gets, you can really visualize things and slice and dice how you want it. And then we've added user row support and advanced row level security, which is applying then different security rules for each user within the single report or dataset. And then we have no-code support for your extensions and customization. So you can bring the data in your extensions or your specific fields in our reports without any additional coding. And yeah, of course, we support multiple companies, and we even allow you to report across legacy data from discontinued ERP systems, including the Dynamics GP or QuickBooks. So you can really, you can maintain your comprehensive year-over-year comparisons and trend analysis. So what I would suggest now is that actually we just, stop the PowerPoint, and I'll give the word to Dejan, and he will make a really nice walkthrough through Business Central Insights for you.
Good. Thank you very much, Alash. I'll share my screen, and here we go. Let me know if you can see it. Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, like Alash mentioned, I'll just jump in and kind of go through some of the reports. I'll probably in the next 10 minutes, I'll try to do like a high-level overview across different apps. So we'll not have much time to spend on each report, but the idea is just to you get like a kind of just the feeling, the overview of the reports. So yeah, first of all, thank you so much for all of you to joining this webinar. Yeah, my name is Dan Pike, and I'm basically the founder of Business Central Insights. Been developing and working on those reports for many years, and spend lots of hours, lots of weekends on this. So the product now is really complete and comprehensive, and will have all the features that you will need. So I'll start with sales, continue with inventory, then show some financial reports, receivables, and maybe some manufacturing reports at the end as well. So as you see on my screen, the sales app, when you open the sales app, you'll see the homepage of different reports, right? And you can see immediately that there are over 50, probably over 60 ready-made reports available in the sales app, right? You have a standard menu on the left side where you can choose company, fiscal year, and on the right side, you have all the other filters that you can apply and filter your data. I'll start with delivery analytics, because most of Business Central customers, they would create sales orders, they would post invoices, and they would want to track how well they're delivering their items or products to their customers. Let's look at the delivery days first. So this report will give you an overview of your delivery performance, and you will be able to compare your actual delivery days with the requested delivery days. Now, you can compare it to requested, promised, or planned delivery date based on the setup or configuration of your Business Central. So you can simply switch from requested to promise, and you will get the new numbers recalculated. Now, for each customer, for example, you can see the variances, and you would see to which customers you're usually delivering your products late. You can change the view on the left side. So from sell to customer, we can select item, and now you would see your delivery performance by item. Or you can simply choose week, and now you would see your delivery performance week by week. And you see exactly in which weeks you were delivering your items late. So that's the delivery days. The next one I want to overview is the on-time delivery. The on-time delivery report will simply give you the percentage of on-time deliveries comparing to all deliveries. And you can look at the sales orders or shipments, shipment lines, or even quantities. So when you compare quantities, you would see how many of those units were delivered on time, comparing the total shipped. But when you compare quantities, probably you want to view it by items. So on the left side, I will just switch to items, and now you see how many monitors were delivered on time, and basically we have quite a low percentage, but this is just a demo random generated data, right? The next one, fill rate, will give you the percentage of total shipped orders, order lines, or quantities comparing to the total orders. And that's how you calculate the fill rate percentage. Again, you can view this by customer. So what's the fill rate by customer, by item, or any other attribute, item category, even, for example, item attribute, and so on. Okay, next one, what I would like to show is the report that shows new and lost customers. So this report, it's a really kind of simple report. It kind of gives you how many new customers you acquired each month. You can click on it and see new customers, what was their profitability, and so on. That's quite important metrics for some companies, but lost customers as well, because here you can track how many customers were lost each month. But the lost customer is based on the parameter here. You can choose customer churn days 60. So I mean, in 60 days, customer become lost customer. We can increase that, for example, to a year, and now the customer will become lost customer only when there is no sale for the whole year, for example. So you can see there's quite dynamically, you can choose and recalculate this. Now, the last report in the sales app I want to show is the cube, right? So we have different cubes in each of our apps, and they're really popular, and you will see why. Because you can dynamically choose any combination of row, columns, and measures. So with one report, you can pretty much create hundreds of different views. And it can really, it's a great way to start analyzing your data. So for example, if you want to see your revenue by, let's say, maybe ship to state, right? So I click on ship to state, and now I see my revenue by ship to state. But maybe now I want to know what are the cities in this state that items were shipped, right? So you can add another level to this hierarchy. With Control key, you can select multiple rows. You can drill down, and now for each state, you would see the cities, right? But then you can say, who are the salespeople that sold in those items in those cities? And you can drill down further to see the list of salespeople. But then you can say, what are the customers that purchased from those salespeople, right? And at the end, maybe what items did they purchase, right? So you can see the idea, right? You can create any kind of hierarchies in any order of selection by just selecting the rows here on the left-hand side. And in the same way, you could add multiple metrics. So right now we see sales revenue. Maybe you want to add profit percentage. Maybe you want to know, other cost of goods sold, even budget, and you can compare all those metrics in one report. When you create a report like this, you can save it as a bookmark. So next time you don't need to do all the selections again. And next week, maybe you want to view the same report, you'll just open a bookmark and you'll have it ready. Okay, so that was the sales quick overview. You see there's a lot more, but we're running out of time. So next one will be inventory. With inventory app, I would just like to say that it really is it will contain lots of data. So even from the home menu, you can see that you'll find here value entries, item ledger entries. Those of you who work with Business Central knows those tables. And you will find all those tables where are the basis for calculating projected available balance. You'll find sales, purchase order, transfer, assembly, job, service, production, and so on. Now, I will start with kind of inventory overview, which is just a high-level picture of your inventory. And you will find metrics here, such as the inventory value. So for example, you can see that inventory value right now is 39 million. Last year was 20 million. So it increased 93% year over year. If we look at the daily inventory value, daily average, it was 32 million. We have 45,000 units quantity, right? It takes 881 days on average to sell our current inventory. This is the day sales of inventory. And the inventory turnover is 0.4. So, we sell only 0.4 of our current inventory value in 1 year. So that's quite a low ratio, right? So this gives us an overview of your complete inventory. But of course, you can segment, you can slice down and see only selected location, for example. I'll choose Canberra. And now, of course, all those metrics will recalculate to show only for Canberra. I can even add another filter, such as item category. So for example, maybe I would just want to know what are the metrics for hardware, right? And now I see that hardware, day sales of inventory is 150, inventory turnover is 2.4, so the metrics are already looking better. Right, so I'll remove the filter again from those two. So this was the overview page when we have different, bar charts, column charts, and KPIs, but we have reports, we call it tables, where you will have like a table structure where you can choose what columns, what measures or metrics you want to add to this report. So right here we have your inventory, all your items and item groups. You'll have a current inventory quantity balance, value, your sales revenue, cost of goods sold, profit percentage, and then quantity sold, purchased, quantity on sales order, purchase orders, days since last item sales. But those are only few of them that are selected from the full list. So you can basically personalize your view and show exactly the metrics that you want to see. So for example, maybe days since last item sales is not relevant, you can remove it, and you see the column will disappear. And instead of that, maybe you want to add gross margin return on investment to see how well your inventory investment are translated into profits, and you'll get the ratio here, right? So that's the inventory table. Maybe I'll just quickly overview the inventory valuation report. This report also is available in Business Central standard, but this one now is in Power BI. It gives you all the availability to slice and dice and see more specific views and in a chart and so on. So opening balances, increases, decreases, closing balances, those sort of things. You can even change unit of measure and it will recalculate the quantities here. Now, some of the inventory ratios that I mentioned already before, we have a dedicated reports for day sales of inventory. We can view this item by item. We can view this by inventory turnover as well, sell-through rate, gross margin return on investment. Then we have inventory aging and out of stock days. So inventory aging will calculate, for example, how many days passed by since last sale, and then you see which items were not sold for a long time, and you can kind of group them together and see, you can action those items. Out of stock days is a simple report, just tells us how many days per year certain items were out of stock. And you can see, for example, you can compare it to cost of goods sold, and you would see which items should be in stock more days, for example. Okay. So this concludes the inventory overview. I'll continue with finance. May I just check for time? We have how many more minutes?
I think you're doing okay. Yeah.
Brilliant. So when we look at the financial reports, I will basically, firstly, I'd just like to go to Business Central and mention a few setup options there. So the financial app is built around GL account categories. This is a standard Business Central functionality where you can create a structure of your financial statements, P&L, income statement, and all of that is configured here. You can assign GL accounts to each category. And then once this is done, this is just one of setup, it's prerequisite. Then in our app, we also have P&L statement categories, which means that you can personalize your P&L statement to exactly how you want to see it in Power BI. You can rename categories, you can move those categories up, down, hide categories that are not relevant. And once you did the configuration, when we open the Power BI, the P&L statement, for example, this report will reflect your setup. So many of our customers would use this P&L statement because they can easily configure it and they can view it exactly how they want, for their business. Now the P&L statement, you would see all the subcategories and then even GL accounts under that. If I drill down here, I'll see the individual GL accounts under each category. Of course, I can view the P&L by any period. Could be month, week, accounting period, any of that. By any financial dimension. So, of course, financial dimensions are really important for any data analytics. So basically, you can just simply choose a dimension, and you will see your P&L by selected dimension here, or by company. So that the question about multi-company consolidation, you see the P&L can be easily viewed by different company and the total across multiple entities as well. The financial reports also include receivables app, payables app, and cash flow app. So we have all of those available. Now, probably right now I will not have time to go through and show the inventory. Sorry, to show the receivables or payables. But what I would like to just kind of quickly show 1 or 2 pages. So the overview and the table, you will see that we have lots of standard receivables metrics. Things like you can quickly view average invoice overdue days, days of aging, close before due percentage, all of that you can then analyze for different customers and then view that in the table or in the different other dashboards. The last one, manufacturing. We're planning to do another webinar in January where we'll do a deep dive on manufacturing reports, but basically we have all the standard manufacturing reports, including production cost and capacity. When you can view in an overview, for example, if you see the production, in this case, quantities by time, by item, and so on. It's just like an overview page. We have on time, in full production, where you can see how many production orders were completed on time and in full, and so on. Standard production cost, expected cost variance, really important for some companies when they track their costs. And for example, they can view by production order standard cost, actual standard cost and variances, and also capacities. For those companies who use capacities, you can compare actual to expected capacities. So that's a quick overview. And probably to go more deep dive, you probably need to set up a call with us. We can guide you through more specific apps.
Right, Jan. I do have a question. You mentioned configuration. So every BC implementation tends to have unique data, either custom data or add-ins added. Maybe you could kind of give an idea how that incorporates into Business Central Insights.
Yeah, exactly. So we mentioned before, but our apps support table extensions. So which means that there was a common question when we presented our apps to our customers, and the question was around, what about custom fields? We have this custom field on a item table, customer table, on sales invoice. How do we bring this into Power BI? It will take extra development. We'll have to maintain this. We might need to create a custom API for that, and it will be just expensive and difficult to maintain. So we basically have a solution for that. We call it table extensions, and basically what it means that you can simply select a field from the list of all the fields in Business Central, and you can add it to a standard table. And now this field will be available in Power BI out of the box without any development, simply through setup by selecting a field. And now you can even rename it so that in Power BI, in those cubes reports, you would see exactly the name of the field, or even rename it. So maybe instead of tax area, I don't know, VAT region, and then in Power BI, the field will be called VAT region, exactly how I want to be, right? So this is the table extensions functionality. So all available out of the box.
Yeah, I was really excited for that one. It cut down a lot of development. We talked a little bit about this in the beginning, but implementing Business Central, upgrades, new implementations, a lot of times they don't bring enough data to get comprehensive reporting. Maybe you could show how the system accommodates that. Give us an idea.
So that You mean the extra data, like historical data or legacy data
Yes,
from other systems? Yeah.
historical data. Say I'm a GP user,
Yes, yes.
GP's nearing end of life, and we're converting to Business Central, but we need enough of our data history to analyze,
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
analytics. So
Yeah. So that you're right. There's not always like customers, when they migrate from older systems, from the previous ERP systems, they can choose to bring across all their history and actually post journals in and opening balances in Business Central, but they don't do this always, right? They don't want to bring their historical data. They'll just create opening balances and start from 1st of January, for example, right? But then how do you analyze your past years of data? Well, we added a functionality called legacy data, where you could basically bring in that this was basically developed based on our customer feedback. They had exactly this scenario, right? They want to bring in legacy data from their other system for sales, for example, for inventory, for finance. And the idea is that you simply import data into this table, sales legacy table, right? For sales, this will be as simple as customer, item, quantity, cost, sales, and maybe some dimensions. And now all this will be available out of the box in our reports. And you'll be even able to filter this. There's a legacy data filter. You can say include or exclude legacy data or show only legacy data. So all of the data that you will import will be appended to the standard Business Central fact tables, so entry tables, and available across all our apps. So for example, all of those 50 reports will contain legacy data. You'll be able to analyze those year-over-year trends and so on. So we do support that for sales, purchasing, inventory, and financial data. Yeah.
that's very nice. So we mentioned a lot of new data, adding data I mean, it is a question we get very often. Will you need an extra data warehouse, or what capacity, what's required to make that work? Do we need to, do we need an extra data warehouse for everything to function?
I mean, actually not, because there's no need for data warehouse. There are no costs with it, no maintenance. I mean, Business Central Insights leverages this modern API connectivity to Business Central, and basically it's the same technology as the standard embedded Power BI reports. So, and this API connection is really optimized for efficient data refresh capabilities. I mean, it can handle like more than 20 million rows under 20 minutes. So it's really, you can really get this rapid, nearly real-time insights. And then data refresh can be then scheduled as appropriate. So if you require more than 8 refreshes per day, then the Power BI Pro license will not be enough. Then you go for Power BI Premium license, and then you can go for up to 48 refreshes per day. So basically every half an hour.
Grant, you mentioned licensing, so why don't we touch on that? Business Central Insights really only needs one Power BI Pro license, right, to connect the Power BI connector to the workspace in the service, and that usually handles capacity. Is that?
Basically, when our apps are installed in Power BI service, right, it creates a new workspace. Like I demonstrated here, each of those apps is sitting in the Power BI workspace. Now, Power BI workspace has a capacity, and you assign a capacity here, and all our apps are working with Pro licenses. So basically, all the users that will consume and access those reports will need to have Power BI Pro license, which I think it costs $10 per user per month.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned multiple company, right? So Business Central Insights is supporting multiple company right out of the box. Maybe you could show that there. And Also, we want to give a hint to multiple regions or tenants. Can
Yes.
we handle
Yes.
that, and how do we do it?
Yeah, so we're adding more and more features to our apps, but our apps were right from the start were multi-company. So in the connector app, you can simply enable here which companies do you want to bring into Power BI, and we support unlimited number of companies. When we look at any of the reports in Power BI, you see there's a company filter on every page. So you can simply say, I want to view data by one company or maybe by two companies together, and immediately you consolidate it both into one report, right? Or even remove filter and you will see all of the companies combined, right? So every page could be viewed by one or multiple companies. So that's basically a great feature. Yeah. Now we have lots of customers that having multiple Business Central environments as well. Right now, each app connects to one environment, and for example, we have customers with 5 or plus Business Central environments in different countries and with big international companies, and they would successfully use Business Central insights and consolidate their financial data, for example, or their sales data across multiple environments into one report. Now, how to do that? We offer a simple half-an-hour training, a demo session on how to achieve that. And there'll be new features coming in the future releases where there'll be more and more things available out of the box as well. And another thing, we mentioned multi-region. We have just yesterday actually published our apps in German and French language as well. So if you see this one, this report is in German and this one is in French, and you can see it's all properly translated. All the measures, all the names of the account categories, the filters. So all our apps are now multi-language. They're available in French and German, and in the future we'll add more languages based on the customer feedback and based on the feedback.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're combining data across multiple entities, multiple tenants, multiple companies. A lot of people ask me, how do I keep that data then private for the personnel that need to see it versus the personnel that don't? So maybe you could show a little bit about how you configure the data privacy and security in the app.
Yes. Yeah. So because our apps are purely built in Power BI, right? That means that the data security is completely handled by Microsoft and all standard. It's all basically sitting in customer tenant environment. We don't access data, any other customer data, right? It's all, we just provide the app and the data is basically is managed by the customer. Now, the security model in Business Central and security model in Power BI when it comes to user roles is a little bit different. So Power BI will have row level security, right? And we do support row level security across all our apps. So in the connector app, you would simply have to put a user email. That's the Power BI login email, right? And you will assign a role. So we do support different roles for each app. So for example, if you want to assign Tony a salesperson role, then you would assign also permissions and you choose, which salesperson does his role map to. And when he will log in to Power BI, then he will only see data for this salesperson. So he will only see his own data. We do support row level security for dimensions as well. It's based on the app pretty much. In finance could be even by GL account, in receivables could be by project manager, even by and so on. So if let's say specific customers will have custom requirements on how to set up row level security, we can easily add it to this model we have right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very comprehensive, I think. Thank you, Dion. I guess we're getting to time now, so if you want, let me go ahead and share the opportunity we have with everyone today.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into, we've got a few questions in the chat to address as well.
Yeah.
So I'll take the screen back from you, Dion. Thank you so much for that.
No worries. Yeah.
Okay. So we're done with the demo section for now. For everyone on the meeting today, we wanted you to take an opportunity to try out the apps. So we're offering a free delivery session. Again, it usually only takes a few hours to do the installation and setup and discovery. And eKnowtion's freely granted a 30-day free trial for anyone who's wanting to try that out. And again, we're offering a 2-hour discovery and installation session for anyone that would like to do that. So if you would just put your email address in the chat or contact me if you're not comfortable with that, and we can reach out to you and set up and book a call to do that in the future. I'll leave that up. Let me move on for the Q&A at the end. I do want to do a quick overview of the companies. eKnowtion and Michael or Alesh, I don't know if you want to present this part, but eKnowtion's been around for a number of years and is a trusted partner delivering analytics and in Business Central and for Power BI. They've obviously built a very comprehensive set of apps to incorporate everything that users use in the functional areas in Business Central. And tried and tested with many customers all over the globe. They've had a great reaction to their apps. You can read the customer testimonial. The moment I've seen them, I knew that we had to put them in pretty much every opportunity we have. And that was the impetus for showing you guys here today. So very excited to continue the work with them. Here at CompQsoft, we're on a long-term IT company. We've been working with public and private industry for almost 27 years. Our mission is to bring technology and strategies to organizations to foster growth, efficiency, drive opportunity, and value. We are fledgling in the commercial space. We have a long history in the private community, in the public government community, and just starting in the commercial communities. So we're very excited to do that now. Our offerings, we kind of do everything across the board, again, and just getting into the commercial space in the last year with Business Central, but history of across the board on Microsoft Stack and providing analytics and data services there. Again, there's a free delivery session for anyone who would like to take advantage. And now I think we'll take over and do the questions. We got a couple questions. I don't know if you guys can see them, Dion, if you want to take those, or if you want me to read it off to you. The first one is about adding a custom field as part of the base DAX measures.
Yes.
For example, they have a field to hold, and I have my guess at how we would do that, but I'll let you answer it.
Yes, yeah. So that will be simply handled by table extension. So in this case, what you do just simply add this on hold field to the setup, and it will appear in Power BI. You'll be able to filter based on that and exclude or include on hold customers based on your calculations. So I think that will be solved through that. Okay, another one is the connection. So our connection to Business Central is through API web services. So that's the technology we use, and it's also recommended by Microsoft, and it's really fast for data refreshes. The incremental refresh is not supported right now by standard Power BI connector for Business Central. So therefore, we do full data refresh, but even with full data refresh, the refresh times are really fast. So it won't we don't have, to be honest, we don't have any performance issues with any of our customers, and we have some really big customers using our apps at the moment. When we talk about production system overload, how Business Central works, I think after a certain capacity, the replica database will be created in the backend so that all our apps will then connect to this replica database, so the production wouldn't be affected at all. So that's one. But if let's say if you're a company who has like millions and millions of rows of data, what my suggestion would be to just simply install our apps, take 15 minutes to do that, and then test data refresh and see how they perform with the data load. The licensing cost, yeah, Alash already put a link to the pricing, which is publicly available on our website.
Just adding, for the data refresh, we also have some additional features that allow you to do some kind of, let's say, semi-incremental load just from a certain date up, so that actually we can reduce the workload of the load into the Power BI if this would be really required. But up to now, this was not really required with our customers because simply the refresh was fast enough.
Yeah.
Just want to add one thing on the pricing as well, because this sometimes comes up. So the pricing that you see on the website, standard includes support for up to 10 Power BI users. Premium, unlimited number of Power BI users above 10. The only thing is, if you, these are the cloud prices. If you have the on-premise solution, which we also support, which not a lot of people realize, but we can do, but that would be premium pricing. But hopefully you'll agree the pricing is very competitive, and certainly compared to the cost of a consultant, even for a couple of days to do some custom reporting work, it'd be very, very cost effective.
Yeah, even doing the customizations, and I think Tim there asked who offers implementation consulting services for this product. That would be us at CompQsoft. We offer those services, and that discovery session, we can offer that. We can talk to, if you've got custom entities you want to add or multi-region access, that's part of what we will do. The pricing, you really can't beat it from the base products. I mean, again, that's the reason the cost of value from the Business Central package, even one app alone, really is amazing. That's just I think everyone should get it. There's no reason not to, based on the low entry point. Let's see, there's a governance question. How does an admin monitoring of users who access the Business Central Insights app work? Can we extract which user accesses which app on the page and how many times? And do we have anything that shows that?
I believe that's within the Power BI admin portal. You would see some of the statistics, how many users are accessing which apps, not the reports within apps, but not the pages, but individual apps. So that would be, like, I think, standard metrics in Power BI admin portal. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that. I don't think you can see the individual report pages specifically yet, but you can definitely see the apps themselves. There is one more Q&A I think we got here from Tom. How do you design reports to hot swap entities in BC? Also, any tips on exporting large amounts of data without it taking an hour? The general ledger table is very slow to export to BI. I think that's a couple different questions, right?
I'm not sure if I understand the first one. Maybe you can rephrase it for me.
Just wait to see if he responds. I think part of the general ledger refresh is about the design of the data model and how many fields you're pulling.
Yeah. So with general ledger refresh, I'm super comfortable. So we did tests with 15 million rows of 15 million, right? So, and it took an hour to refresh. So it really, it's literally, I don't think there is a cloud customer out there that wouldn't work with our finance app. So pretty much it works with every implementation. It's the way how those APIs are designed, and our APIs are designed for the fast data refresh and for performance. So what I would just kind of maybe repeat what I said before is just to download the app, start 30-day trial, test the refresh, and see how fast it works.
I wonder if that question about the hot swapping entities is around specific customizations related to, say, table extensions, Dan. And that came up with one of our customers the other day. Do you think that's what they mean there?
Yeah, but I would suggest maybe they, if they can reach out to us and with more details, and I'll be happy to answer the questions 100%.
I think it might be, Tom elaborated a little bit in the chat. Simply put, how can I change which entity my BI report looks at on the fly? I haven't seen a decent way to do it. That might be tenant, is what he's talking about, or production instance.
So, I mean, the entity, in a way, we have the company slicer, and you can switch between companies on every single page. That's maybe, it's all, like I mentioned before, you would see all your entities here. An entity could be a company, but sometimes entity is dimension. So if you use dimension as entity, you can switch between dimensions. If you use a company as entity, you can switch between companies in the same way, right? So it's all built in.
Yeah, and if anyone needs clarity on any of that, I put my direct contact email in the chat. So Tom, if you want to reach out, we can, kind of explore that more in detail. We can book a call and go through anything else. I think that was the last question we had on the Q&A. So again, to keep the meeting consistent, I want to thank everyone for joining today. We'll hope to do more of these in the future, a bit more deep dive probably into specific areas of the systems. But again, I really thank eKnowtion for putting this together with me, and looking forward to doing more in the future. And it's an amazing app. Everyone ought to give it a go. Just download it and try it out.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending, and thank you, Owen and CompQsoft for organizing this.
Yeah, thanks for hosting.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye.